talk to me of just kind of the background challenges for the business in this space and what we're kind of going into, some of those solutions. But first, let's talk about the challenges.
Yep. So contractor reimbursement was, I'll give the little quick history lesson of why it came about. It was typical in the OEM industry, anywhere where repairs were happening or service was happening, and I now have to pay that independent contractor. And way back in the day, what they used to do was I'd go out and run the job, and I would fill out my piece of paper, and I would mail it off to whoever's supposed to pay me. They would get it, and they would redline it and go, well, you didn't give me this piece of information or that piece of information, and they would mail it back to them. And that service would go, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to do this. And they would make a correction, and they would mail it back to who's supposed to pay them. Long story short, that used to take on average about 60 days to get a service provider paid. You want to make service providers successful. They talk about the 2 Ps. One of them relevant to this discussion is you make sure they're paid in a timely manner, and you make sure they have access to parts. So that's, 60 days, cash flow problems, that's not good. So the challenge to overcome is, how can I just enact those rules? Whatever those rules are, every client wants some amount of information provided back of what did you do? What repair did you do? What parts did you use? Give me a description, give me some repair codes or fault codes, or, it can be any number of pieces of data. But I want to ensure that not only am I positioning myself to execute those rules, I want to pay that contractor in a timely fashion. And I also want to make sure I'm not paying him a penny more or a penny less than what we agreed for that job. So, because that's a big issue in the past of you would have things like fraud. If you're not detecting for, wait a minute, you sent us this claim a week ago. Why are you asking for it again? There's one of our clients who has a rule that says we're going to repair an appliance 3 times. That's it. So they have a 3 and done rule, and you need a system that can detect that immediately. So we call it contractor reimbursement, but I will say it's about ensuring you're collecting the data you need, ensuring you're paying in a timely fashion, ensuring you're detecting for fraud. Like there's numerous things that it does.
And all that history just for what the servicer did and everything involved with it, that's only helpful for the consumer, right? They come back, something didn't work, you have all that information there. So huge
absolutely
benefit.
And you can use that information, you can use that post-repair information to dictate what happens if I'm going out, again, that 3 and done rule. I'll know the second time I go out, here's everything that happened in the past. We have all that. Sometimes we know a service provider goes out and an issue comes up 30 days later. Well, it's warranted, so he's going to go out. He's not going to be paid labor because labor is warranted because you just did a repair 20 days ago. Again, imagine a world where you do not have a validation engine checking all of that literally in the moment. Like it is real time. It's time for me to get paid. Here's my information. You get a real time response that says, no, you need to do this. You need to provide this, or yep, you're good to go. You can be paid. And that comes down to our clients who typically they choose to, we're going to pay our networks once a week, but we have examples of clients who pay daily. So we can even support that.